What's up, my wrecking crew? Today, just like the title says, we're going to be talking about top acceleration carts and the new Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Meta Game. Now, you may have noticed I called you all wrecking crew. I decided to stray away from my fellow karters because, well, I'm going to be doing a lot of other videos here aside from Mario Kart soon. And I'm going to give you guys all a term I like to call my clans, guilds, and other games so you guys can be part of the channel with me. So you are now my wrecking crew. So, top speed carts and the new meta. So what I mean by that is I've been putting in over 100 hours worth of gameplay time into Mario Kart 8, and now I think I'm qualified to explain to you guys what is really going on. If you remember my original videos, I said everything's subject to change, nothing's final, and stuff changed. So what's happening is in the new Mario Kart, they went from one item to two items, and doing that has changed the landscape of the game drastically. When in Wii U, it was once 11 other racers. If they all had items, it was 11 other items on the track. Now, it's 11 other racers, and if they all have two items, that's 22 items running around on the track. That's a lot of chaos. And when that happens, it kind of kills off one of my favorite things in the game, and that's top speed carts. So it's with fondness in my heart, I have to bid the top speed carts farewell. May you all rest in peace. So, with that said, let's get to it. This two item thing just creates crazy chaos. And because of that, we had to ditch top speed, and the new king of the racetrack here is now acceleration and mini turbo. You got to get those things way high. We're not completely disregarding top speed. You still need some top speed. Where in the past I would go for a 5 or in the upper 4s, now I gun for 3 to 4 at max. You just really need that top speed and that acceleration and mini turbo. You have to recover from the chaos going on in the match. So with that, let's jump right into it, and I'll show you the examples I came up with, and hopefully you'll like them and give them a shot. So here we go. I'm basically going to be doing two different carts with three variations of the two carts, and then one for fun at the end. So as you can see, I'm using the dry Bowser bracket of characters, which includes Wario. I'll show you down here. Dry Bowser and Wario right here. The reason why I use these, which I've explained in prior videos, is because they have the what I consider to be the best stat line in the game. Even regardless of dumping top speed and now going for acceleration and mini turbo, you can just create the best carts using this bracket of characters. And actually, I've discovered that there is another bracket of characters that kind of gives the most bang for the buck, which is the Waluigi to Roy bracket, which I'll be demonstrating in some of the variations using Roy. If you notice here, they got 4.5 top speed and 3.25 acceleration. Now, there's no other character in here that can create that kind of variance with that kind of bang for your buck, like I said. So now that I said that, now you know why I'm using these two brackets of characters, and more or less all of the top players in the game tend to use these two brackets as well. Okay, so first setup. This is what more or less all of the 10K plus rating people use all the time, and this is the setup that I've been using all the time now for a while now. And it's Dry Bowser, Silver Arrow, or Wild Wiggler, same exact cart. A lot of the times you'll see the guys using a Wild Wiggler because of, appearance. They want to look retarded while they're racing around. The roller wheels and the paper glider. So what this does is it's 3.7 ground, 4.75 water, 5 air, and 4.5 anti-gravity speed. And obviously the speed is just how fast you go on that certain ground type. this is not bad at all compared to what the game is now regarding acceleration and mini turbo. This is actually very high top speed, which is kind of crazy to say. And your anti-grav speed is actually great at 4.5, so that's still got a lot of oomph behind it. And since most of the courses consist of ground and anti-gravity, you can get some good use out of this top speed mark right here. Water, air, again, they don't really matter too much. You're really on them just a minuscule portion of the whole game, so it's not really a big deal if they're low or high. But you know they're high, so when you're on those ground types for however many seconds, you'll get that little boost in speed. Next is acceleration. The acceleration is a 4, not insanely high, not insanely low. These three setups are more of a balanced setup geared towards acceleration and mini turbo. This 4 will help you recover relatively quickly from hits, and also what I discovered is if you go 5 and up in acceleration, it kind of gets negated a little. The amount you recover after getting hit isn't too like too big of a difference between 5 and under. So anywhere between 4 and 4.75, I kind of feel is like the sweet spot for acceleration now. And same thing goes for mini turbo. But 4 acceleration is great. You'll still be able to recover very well when you get hit. Weight 3.25, not super heavy anymore like my other builds I like because I didn't like being knocked around. But 3.25 isn't that bad of a weight. You could still bully some people, but you're more aligned with what everyone else is on the track. So it's not too crazy, not too underpowered. It's just right in the middle. Handling, of course, is how well you cut those corners on the different ground types. Ground is 3.25, water 2.7, air 3.25, anti-grav 3.25. All great stats for handling. You'll have no problem cutting the corners, nice and easy. Just across the board, just a great stat for handling. Traction is 3.25. Traction, again, is this, how well you pick up speed on desert and ice. 3.5 is not bad at all. You'll have no problem picking up speed on those courses. And the mini turbo is a 4, and the 4 again is not bad. You kind of want to keep mini turbo and acceleration the same because that's how it just pans out when you're making these carts. 4 gives you plenty of boost in that mini turbo. You'll go for a decent amount of time. You'll notice it. The next variation I wanted to show you was Dry Bowser, Silver Arrow, Rollers, and the Wario Wing. Again, Silver Arrow can be a Wild Wiggler if you want. And just so you know, Paper Glider, the equal to that is the Cloud, which I put down here just as an example. Wario Wing, you can use the Wario Wing or the Gold Glider. It's the same thing. In this, you have just slightly more top speed. So if you don't really want to fully forsake top speed, you can give yourself just that little bit over acceleration and mini turbo. It's just a variation. I was giving you an option. Otherwise, it's more or less exactly the same as the first cart, just a 0.25 difference on acceleration, ground, mini turbo, and a few stats here and there. And you're a little bit heavier. So if you want a little more top speed, if you find you're not getting hit too much, then switch to this and maybe it'll give yourself a little bit more of a lead while you're driving around. And the third example is using the other tier of character, the Roy, Waluigi, Donkey Kong tier, in the Silver Arrow with the rollers and the Cloud/Paper Glider. In this, you got 3.5 ground speed, and I'm thinking the new rule of thumb here is don't go below 3 top speed on ground. Any lower than that, it's kind of pointless. That's what I've discovered after playing so much now. 4.5 water, air 4.75, anti-grav 4.25. Acceleration is 4.25, which is definitely nice. It'll just speed up your recovery time that much more. Weight is a 3, still within the average range. The handling's all great, all above 3, even 3.5 on 3 of them, which is great. Traction 3.25, perfectly fine. You'll have no problem on desert and ice. And the mini turbo's 4.25. It'll give you that little bit extra time on your boost. All in all, these are my 3 balanced version of acceleration carts, where you still got a good amount of top speed and you still got great acceleration and great mini turbo, great handling. They're just great carts across the board, really. And if you want to vary it up any more, like for example with Roy, you can pop out Cloud Glider and throw in your Wario Wing here. And if you notice, the stats are very similar to Dry Bowser. It's more or less for looks if you want to keep within this stat range but have a different character other than Dry Bowser or Wario. So that's it for the Silver Arrow setups. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so here's the next cart. I'm going to be using the buggy, which I personally hate the way it looks, but in this new type of game that Mario Kart is with the double items and the requirement of having acceleration and mini turbo, this is the best setup I think you can have right now if you're getting pegged with a million things nonstop. If you're not getting pegged, use the Silver Arrow carts. They'll do great. But if you feel like everything's tilted against you, I would switch to the Bitty Buggy to help dig yourself out of the hole. So let's start here. We got Dry Bowser, Bitty Buggy, Roller, and Paper Glider. What this does is gives you a 3.25 ground speed, which is above the 3 rule of thumb minimum. 4.5 water, 4.5 air, and 4 anti-gravity. These are all fine stats because acceleration is at a 4.5. That is great. So when you get hit, you'll notice the bigger boost to the recovery time. It's just a great number for acceleration and top speed mixed in. It does really work out great, especially if you're getting pegged, like I said. Weight is a 3, right in that average range. Handling 3.5 ground, 3 water, 3.5 air, 3.5 anti-grav. Great handling across the board. Everything above 3 is wonderful for handling. You have no problem cutting corners whatsoever. Traction 3.25 and mini turbo is a 4.5. That's a great mini turbo. These mini turbos just feel awesome, especially when you hit the purple boost. It just goes on for days. It almost feels like a mushroom. Actually, it is a little longer than a mushroom. I don't feel like the boost is as powerful as the mushroom, but again, it goes a little bit longer. So let's go to the first variation of this. Dry Bowser, Bitty Buggy, Roller, and the Wario / Cloudwing. Just if you're curious, there was no similar cart to the Bitty Buggy. The next similar thing with the same stat line was the bikes, but I'm not a fan of the bikes and how they handle, so I stick to carts. So cart 2 here, we got 3.5 ground, just slightly more ground speed, water 4.2, air 4.7, anti-grav is the same at 4. Acceleration is 4.25, just 0.25 difference is what you're going to be seeing in this video for the most part. They're very slight differences. They're just little variations depending on what you want. So if you want that little more top speed and not sacrifice a whole lot of acceleration mini turbo, you switch to the Wario Wing. Weight 3.5, a half point more weight, which is nice. Handling 3.5 ground, 3.25 water, 3.25 air, 3.25 anti-grav, all great. Traction's 3, above 3, still doing good with traction. Mini turbo 4.25, still a nice mini turbo. And the last variation here is with the Roy tier, Roy, Waluigi, Donkey Kong tier character, Bitty Buggy, Roller, and the Wario Wing. Let me actually put a paper glider on here. Let's do paper glider. You can use, I'll just show the paper glider on here, and then you can switch to a Wario Wing if you feel like you want, the similar to Dry Bowser up there with the paper glider. They're very similar, just, it's an appearance choice. So paper glider here. So we got 3 ground speed, still at that rule of thumb, 3 top speed, which is great. 4.25 water, 4.25 air, 3.75 anti-grav. Acceleration is a 4.75. So this is the point where I think going any higher would just not do too much of a difference for you. Because let's say you have a high acceleration, you're going to have a lot higher top speed. So you hit your top speed instantly, but your top speed takes you nowhere. So you got to have some kind of middle ground, and I feel like 4.75 is the best choice, the highest you should go involving acceleration. And it is very nice. You recover very quickly. Weight is a 2.75. It's under 3, but I mean, you're sacrificing that to get that more acceleration and mini turbo. And again, these setups are very geared towards the acceleration mini turbo, which is very needed now. Handling is 3.75 ground, 3.25 water, 3.75 air, 3.75 anti-grav. Traction is a 3. It's perfectly fine. And mini turbo is a 4.75, which is a nice long boost. You can make great use of it throughout the course of a race. So these are the 3 variations using the Bitty Buggy, which is heavily geared towards acceleration and mini turbo. Please give all 3 of them a shot and see how you like it. I guarantee you'll recover a lot quicker if you're having those issues getting pegged with a million things out there. And now for the just screwing around variations. So if you really don't care about top speed and you just want crazy acceleration and crazy mini turbo, you can pick any one of these three carts. They're all just funny to use. And surprisingly, I've used these carts and you don't end up in last. You can actually get to the middle of the pack relatively easily. But I would not use these if you're racing seriously and trying to go for the wins. But you could choose Dry Bones, Cat Peach, Tanuki Mario, and put them all in this setup, and you got some crazy stats here. Ground is anywhere from 1 to 2. Acceleration is maxed out at 5.75 on the Dry Bones, and it goes 5.5, 5.25 for the other. Weight is nothing. You're like a feather. The acceleration is out of control. Look at these stats in acceleration. So no problem turning here. Traction is 4 and below, which is great, and mini turbo 5.5, 5.25, 5.25. So plenty of time on that mini turbo boost. But these are just the screw around setups if you're just bored and want to have some fun. I didn't optimize these at all, but this is the this is just the fun stuff I was screwing around with from time to time when I needed a little break from the seriousness of Mario Kart. But yeah, just try them out. You might have some fun. So that's it, guys. Sorry it took a little while to get this acceleration video out. After discovering the new meta and everything, I needed more time, and I wanted to just make sure I can put out a good video for you guys so you have a full understanding on what's happening in Mario Kart now. I hope you enjoyed it. Please try out all the different variations I set up here. Going forward with releases, since it takes me a little bit to put out a release because I got a lot of other stuff going on, I'm basically going to be slipping in little videos in between the bigger releases, like gameplay videos. I'll probably even release some videos showing examples of these carts. And obviously ARMS is coming soon, so I'll be streaming that a lot on my Twitch. I'll also be posting plenty of ARMS videos, like tutorials and certain characters that I like to use, like Min Min. Man, I love Min Min. And also Splatoon comes out soon after that. So there will be plenty of new YouTube videos coming on the channel. Lots and lots of Twitch streaming. So come by and hang out and join in the games with me. But other than that, thank you for watching, guys. If you like what I'm doing, I'll keep putting stuff out as long as people like it. Shoot me a subscribe, pop on Twitch, toss me a follow, and join in every now and then. And really, thank you guys for watching the videos and the support you've given me lately. But that's it. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you soon with another Mario Kart video.